Jim Blocky, Real Ed Aid. Today's vlog, America's biggest threat. It's not who you might think it is. I mean, does anyone know what America's biggest threat really is? I don't believe so. Many say China or Russia. Several others say it's Iran or North Korea. I say it's not any of those. Can Russia take over our schools and brainwash America's children? Can China keep our borders open? Can Iran take our Christian heritage away? Can North Korea change our Constitution? Can any of them intentionally misinterpret the First Amendment so we would protect the speech of our enemies? Can any of them attempt to change the Second Amendment and convince Americans it was just so we could hunt? The answer to those questions is essentially it's no. However, any one or all of these countries could permeate us under false pretenses and possibly take over one of the political parties and begin to brainwash our children, alter our immigration system utilizing lies and manipulation, modify and revise America's Christian heritage through historical revisionism, attempt to change our Constitution through a constitutional convention, protect the speech of our enemies, and convince Americans the Second Amendment was not about protections. Now, these are all actions the Democrats are taking against America. This is why I've been telling you, liberal Democrats are anti-Americans who should not be compromised with under the guise of bipartisanship, and they should not be included simply because we have been deceived into believing inclusion is so important. And am I really saying that the Democrats are America's biggest threat? Oh, yes, I am. Joseph Stalin and many others always predicted that America would never be beaten from anything outwardly. It would have to be from within. America continues, at this point, to be the richest, most powerful nation on earth. However, the Democrats are slowly altering that. Take a look at President Obama's presidency. Did he do anything to help America become stronger? No. In fact, he did just the opposite. He went around to other countries to apologize to them for our arrogance. He socialized medicine, weakened our army, insulted many of our citizens. He made the hardworking feel guilty for their hard work. He even insinuated white police officers and most white people by referring to them as racist. Think about that for a moment. Weren't we the nation that won wars and then helped those nations we just defeated rebuild their countries? That sounds pretty humble and modest to me. Definitely not arrogant. However, the fact that this president went around apologizing for us really did nothing but weaken and humiliate us. Socializing medicine is well known as the first step to a socialist nation, which goes directly against America's foundation. Insulting our citizens with phrases like, and it's not surprising that they, Americans, get bitter. They cling to their guns or religion or antipathy to people who aren't like them. That's an extremely racist statement if I've ever heard one. He increased the amount of people who are on food stamps and funds it by raising taxes on the hardworking American citizens. That's truly appalling. And of course, anytime a white police officer had to use his weapon against a black person to defend themselves, how he chastised that officer before he even knew the facts. The white police officer was automatically a racist according to this president. And the libs, they just love and worship this guy like few others. Now, libs have taken over our schools and are not focused on academic, but on social behavior. And those behaviors are liberal behaviors, taking their minds off of helping their neighbors and others and focusing on their own pleasures. Do you know around 20% of American adults have dyslexia today, and about 40% of adults are illiterate? Math scores are at an all-time low. So you can see how academics has simply become an afterthought in education. Few of our adult citizens, educated or not, know little or nothing about the true history of this country. It's been taken over by historical revisionists who tell our children the Founding Fathers were nothing more than drunkards and racist slave owners. The truth of how most of them freed their slaves when we separated from the Brits, or how we wrote legislation on 6 different occasions to repeal slavery and was defeated by the liberals, that never surfaces. The First Amendment was not intended to protect the speech of our enemies. The truth behind it was to ensure the government could not make a law enforcing Americans to conform to a specific Christian sect or denomination. It definitely was not intended to protect America from Christianity. And the Second Amendment, that was to ensure Americans would always be able to possess the same weaponry as our enemies, foreign or domestic. So you can see America's biggest threat. It's not Russia or China. It's not Iran or North Korea. Our biggest threat comes from within, just as Stalin and so many others predicted. The liberals do not want us to compromise to make America stronger. The liberals do not want to control our education system for their love of children. The liberals do not want us to have open borders because of their great concern for other people. The liberals want compromise to weaken America. The liberals want control of education to control America's children and what they think. The liberals want open borders to diminish American citizens. And the liberals want all of these things not to make America better. On the contrary, they want all of these things to obliterate, annihilate, and tear down every good thing America has ever stood for. This is Jim Blocky with Real Ed Aid.